Good day. Today I'm going to ask you which investment model do you wish to pursue? And my organization have the means to help you, mostly turnkey. All right. We're doing, as you know, for those of you who've been the member of the real estate network for many, many years, you've been doing turnkey, long distance, out of state cash flow properties, new constructions, affordable places in the growth markets, the path of growth mainly in Sunbelt. But I want to introduce other business models to you. Perhaps you will determine based on your buy box if you wish to potentially pivot into other investment models. So this is very exciting because look, this is 2026. There's a lot of things going on. The real estate investing is evolving so fast because of artificial intelligence, technology, internet, and there's so many systems and processes and procedures are available to you. You guys are mom and pop real estate investors, and you just want to diversify your real estate portfolio to achieve financial freedom, or you want to scale your portfolio, and you're trying to determine what's best for you. Everybody's different. Everybody has different goals and objectives, different criteria, different buy box, and what have you. So, some of you have full-time job. You can only do you want to keep your full-time job, that's fine. You still want to invest in real estate. The others, some of you want to have a second job, or maybe even a full-time job doing real estate investing. So to each his own, but I'm just gonna, share with you, my thoughts on this, all right? So here we go. This is all from high level, 30,000 feet high level. All right, so let's compare the mainstream real estate asset classes. Of course, we have the short-term rental, which is supported by the Airbnb in terms of marketing and whatever. And then we have mid-term rental, which is a 30-day stay or longer, 30 to 90-day plus, right? Furnished type of rentals. And Of course, the Furnish Finder is the main marketing platform for midterm rental, and then long-term rental, right? The cookie cutter, that's been the mainstream investment strategies for mom and pop investors for decades and decades. So either you do a turnkey, like the way we love to do it, the way I like to do it, turnkey, almost passive, right? You just leverage to a professional property management on the ground. They do pretty much everything for you. That's what I love, just so you know. Or other people want to self-manage. They want to do different type of long-term rental. They want to do fix and flip. They want to do a BRRRR strategy. They want to buy fixer-uppers and this and that, right? There's a lot of subcategories associated with long-term rental, all right? And then finally, some of you may not have heard of it, but co-living, uh, which is you rent by the room, right? You create a 4 bedroom, 2 bath into a 7 or 8 bedroom and rent by the room to workforce housing. And they're supported by PassSplit currently. PassSplit is the marketing platform for co-living. Now you understand their marketing platform. There are other marketing platforms associated with all these investment models, but the main marketing platforms, as you can see on my screen. All right, so let's go further. Again, I cannot go over too much details because if you're part of my network, you will get informed and educated about on future topics and Zooms and what have you. All right. So if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please do so. If not, also in addition to that, you can put your email into my website so you can become a free member of my real estate investment community of like-minded real estate investors. And of course, you can consult with me uh, uh, as well. All right. So there's a lot of changes, right, that are shaping real estate. I've never seen so much changes uh, so far, which is, in fact, is very, very exciting. So we have to, as real estate investors, we have to adapt to the changes, right? If you don't adapt, you're gonna die, right? So the old models feels harder, right? Cash flow is much tighter, as you know, right? It's very, very hard to cash flow these days. Okay, so it's very, very tough. But if you look deeper, if you find the local market, if you create your buy box, if you focus, if you do the work, if you commit to the process, you will find a buy box. You will find a particular area in the US that can help you. Of course, my turnkey process, I have done all the research for my investors, most of the research. But anyway, all right. So again, it's all about your criteria. What's your buy box? You want to do more work, less work, no work. It all works. All right. So long-term rental. This is long-term rental, which we love, right? Because I like time freedom. Okay, I don't want to bog down with managing my long-term rentals. I just delegate and outsource everything to my professional park manager, so I can free up my time to continue to travel full time, luxury travel, travel by cruises. I travel all over the world consistently, pretty much all my lifetime. Even at the same time, I'm running my real estate portfolio and running my real estate consulting business, the Yee Real Estate Network. So how cool is that? All right, long-term rental is a stable. It could be very, very passive, okay, which I love. I just, look, some of my rentals, the renter, they renew for another year. So it's amazing, right? Many of my rentals and many of my investors, they're doing long-term turnkey rentals. Their leases keep on renewing 2 or 3 years at a time per family living in a property. So it's really, so easy to me. Look, I've been doing this for a very, very long time. To me, turnkey long-term rental is so stress-free. I mean, I don't deal with the tenants and toilets and what have you. So my investors are, going through the similar experience. Of course, there are some issues, as always, but anyway, we're not gonna get into that. So long-term rental is stable, is almost semi-passive, very low stress. Oh my gosh. Slow wealth building, is all about wealth building, building your nest egg and what have you. Low early cash flow at the beginning, the first few years, and short-term rental is very, very high income potential. Is really, think about it, right? Is a you're running a hospitality business. Is a high cost of entry because the property is not cheap, depending on where you buy. Potentially very high stress, is very active, right? You have to get involved. You have to dealing with the short-term tenants and all the things associated with short-term rental, plus all the, a lot of cities, local zoning and ordinance, they are disallowing short-term rentals as we speak. So it's very risky to me personally, but I would not venture into short-term rental, although some may disagree with me. That's fine. We agree to disagree. And a mid-term rental is a furnished rental, is an up-and-coming asset class. And typically, you can achieve 30 to 50% or even higher rents on a monthly basis than a typical long-term rental. But then again, you have to pay to furnish your cost, depending like 10 to 20 grand to furnish your house to accommodate mid-term rentals, people like healthcare professionals, corporate landlords, or working in a short-term project in a particular area and relocating families, and also digital nomads renting for 30 to 90 day plus. They want a good, place to live. So and work and let me see what else. Yeah, traveling nurses to it's less and less, but yeah, those kind of things. And again, I mean, you could very well hire a professional property manager to do it. They could charge you 15-20% of the rent, or you can self-manage, so which is pretty much creating a second job, right? All right, so and then of course uh, the co-living model, which is up and coming. A lot of you are not aware of what's going on. You rent by the room. Is workforce housing, people making 20, 30, $40 an hour. I mean, the potential to get gross income, the potential to get the tenants, the members, if you will, are very, very high. There's a more more demographics that need workforce housing. They are priced out of home ownership, whatever. People are going through transition, the low blue collar workers, if you will. Not all of them, but anyway. So co-living is a really up and coming. Is a very potentially very high growth income level. So at the end of this presentation, I'm going to compare my turnkey model in terms of the numbers, in terms of cash flow, the whole 9 yards, versus a long-term, versus a co-living pad split models to see what do you think, right? I mean, I'm going to try to be objective as much as possible. You decide based on your buy box, based on your criteria, which investment model you want: short-term rental, mid-term rental, long-term rental, turnkey, or self-managed, or a co-living scenario. All right. So co-living is high cash flow, strong demand. Potentially, you can scale it. We have the ability, and my company is venturing into turnkey co-living uh, investment model as well. Isn't that cool? Okay. Yes, it is. There are systems and process and procedures available for you to do it. I wouldn't say not as much passive as a long-term turnkey model, but somewhat passive. All right, but yeah, to stabilize the co-living portfolio, you have to do a lot of upfront work. Just like a mid-term rental. So it's much more involved. Anyway, so it's all about time, right? Time freedom versus cash flow. What are you willing to give up? What is not only that, what is your mindset? I know a lot of you are busy, have full-time job, you have no time to do short-term rental, mid-term rental, or even maybe even co-living, and you want to stick to almost passive turnkey long-term rental, which is fine. But to each his own, each his own. So long term, again, low to almost no time managing, peace and no stress, very little stress, and time freedom to do the things that are important to you. You're not being bogged down by managing your real estate portfolio, if you will. But the low cash at the upfront, but long term, it'll be fine, right? Most people love long term single family home or up to fourplex investing anyhow. So either way, it's all about wealth building long term, 10 years or more to achieve to achieve the so-called financial freedom. Short-term rental, again, a lot of time, a lot of stress, but high risk, high reward, right? So it all depends on your mindset, on your criteria, and on your buy box, what you feel comfortable doing, right? And of course, co-living is sort of a medium time spent, not necessarily a second job, really. I mean, you can become turnkey if you do it right, if you put together the right system, as I in my company will help you along the way, right? High cash flow also, right? So there's no perfect model, right? There's no right strategy. It must be fit your situation, your goals, your objectives, and how are you going to execute? Of course, my organization and my company will help you, right? And 2026 and beyond, whatever system you choose, if you're motivated, if you're committed, you could get rewarded using this system. All right. So I'm going to give you a case study, uh, compare a co-living model in terms of numbers, very, very high level, right? And to turnkey long-term model that we've been practicing for many decades, all right, and continue to do so. So this property is located in Southwest Florida, Port Charlotte, Florida. This price point is $295K. Could be a new construction, could be older home where you have to renovate. So here's the numbers, right? 295K, like I said. And this home was originally 4 bedroom, 2 bath, like 1,900 square foot. So you decided to convert this this single family home into a co-living using the pad split as your marketing platform. Let's run through the numbers real from a high level. I know I'm missing a lot of details, but we'll do more of this education down the road if you're part of my free membership within my organization, or even when, or you can, like I said, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and you learn more, continue to learn more. It's all about being educated and dive deep into the contents and what have you. All right, so you can convert this 4-bedroom into 7-bedroom each week on this co-living model, rent by the room. Is let's say $200 per week, so times 4 weeks, like let's say $800 per month renting each room, give and take. So monthly gross rent renting for 7 members, 7 tenants, gross rent is $5,320, right? As you can see, right, that's the gross rent. So then of course you put 20% down payment on this property. So 20% down payment, which is plus closing costs right here, and equals like 59,000. Of course, you have to spend like $10,000 at least to add the 3 bedrooms. It all depends, it may cost $5,000 to $7,000 to add each bedroom. Perhaps you add the 1-car garage into an extra bedroom, or 2-car garage into an extra 2 bedrooms, and perhaps the living room, a large living room, you can convert into another bedroom, maybe even 2 bedroom in the large living room. So, and what have you, all right? So if you crunch the number, the taxes, insurance, because as a landlord on a co-living model, you have to provide the internet, the electrical services and all that, right? It's come out of your pocket, because when a member occupy your room, they just of course you have to furnish each room with a bed, with a table, nightstands, and create a closet. Make sure there's a window on the bedroom, so it's all turnkey, right? And so believe me, this is not halfway houses or not for poor people. You'd be surprised. The co-living standard, at least provided by Pat Split, is like 90% occupancy and 5% evictions rate. That's right. This is the model. Pat Split been around for almost 10 years. They have like 50,000 units being operated by mom and pop investors like yourself, using the co-living pad split model. All right, so I'm not gonna look at all this cost, everything. So the total out of pocket is at least $80,000 for creating this model, right? For renovating from a regular single family home, long-term rental situation into a co-living scenario, adding 2 or 3 bedrooms, right? So here's a gross rent minus property management. Oh, by the way, there's a co-living property management that can help you, right? It's all about using the proper system, process, and procedures. And eventually, after a few months, after you stabilize your co-living property, then everything's is easy, hopefully, right? And you can potentially scale into several co-living investment model portfolio if you're really, really motivated. All right, so let's go over the gross rent minus your property management, taxes, insurance, owner to pay the utilities and cleaning, vacancy reserve, 5 or 7%, whatever, maintenance reserve. So your total operating expenses are the following: 2,700. So your monthly net operating income is 2,500. So do the math or the capitalization rate. For those of you savvy investors, you kind of know what I mean by that. Cap rate is 10 point. Anytime you have a cap rate of a double digit, like 10 percent or more, that's a very good cash flow. Cash on cash return, 15%, right? So which is very good. On a long-term cash flow rental, right? The cap rate usually 6 to 7%, and the cash on cash return usually 6 or 7%. So you're getting like maybe 2 or 3 times the income as running a profitable co-living model versus a long-term rental situation. Okay, so at the end of the day, what you do, all the calculation. So your monthly net cash flow is $995. So let's make it 1,000. So if a regular cash flow property at 20 to 25% down payment on a long-term rental is about $200 to $500 net monthly cash flow, and your co-living model is 1,000. So you're getting like 1 to 3 times higher cash flow of converting your property into a co-living model. other than the renovation cost, it's really the down payment is almost the same. You put 20 to 25% down payment. Instead of putting 25% down payment to do a co-living situation, you put 20% down payment and the other 5% down payment, if you will, or allocated toward renovation costs, furnishing costs, the whole 9 yards, right? So understand that? So that's pretty simple, right? But yeah, it's that simple. Now let's get back to the long-term cash flow turnkey model that we are promoting all these years. And I'm going to use our North Texas off-market type of opportunities as an example to do an apple-to-apple comparison. At the end of the day, you have to decide, do you want long-term a rental with one family, one annual lease, renewable annual lease, or you want the co-living model where 6 to 8 people are cohabitating, strangers living in a co-living rent by the room model, which works. Okay, don't get freaked out about doing this because I'm not gonna get into it right now, but you can rules and zoning compliance. My team and a past split, they have done pretty much all the due diligence in different markets to make this co-living workforce housing model really works. Is up and coming. I assure you. All right. Anyway, getting back to the long term, long term, almost passive. I mean, pretty much passive, which is amazing, right? And this is we have to. I'm using example of the best market that we have in North Texas. Okay, brand new construction, as you can see, only 231K on this boomtown in Howell, Texas. By the way, North Texas is one of the fastest booming town. And there's a rate, builders rate buy down. I'm not gonna go over it. All these numbers, your down payment is 71,000. You don't pay the first year property management fee, and the builder, the seller, can pay 1 or 2% of your closing costs. At the end of the day, long-term model, you still get 6% cap rate, 6% return in this particular location. So at the end of the day, you have $342 monthly net cash flow, even with the kind of a high property tax rate, or more than 2%, you still cash flow very nicely. 342, very ideal. I'm not going to go over the first year, 5th year, 10-year projection. Needless to say, if you hold this property or similar property like this long term annual renewable lease, at the end of 10 year, look how much net cash flow you can achieve, like $1,300 per month, right? If you want $10,000 monthly net retirement income, passive income in 10 years, so you have to buy 9 or 10 of these, right, over time. So not that easy, but not that hard either. Okay, and all these projection, as you can see. So another property I'm going to show you very similar, 319K at 25% down payment, giving all the look at this amazing price, 218K. You're not going to, by the way, you're not going to find any long-term model cash flow new constructions in the fastest growing area in North Texas, anywhere else in the country. Okay, I challenge you to try to refute my feelings. All right, so here are the numbers. Again, I'm not gonna go over the numbers too much. Still, all these numbers are great. This is just the first year cash flow projection, right? Imagine next 5 to 10 years, things will really do well. Okay, and another location we have is again another one of the North Texas boomtown, Josephine, Texas. Look at this, only 232K rents for what? Almost $2,000. We almost 1% rule. 1% rule doesn't or really does not not available. Not sustainable. But in this case, in this unique marketplace, it works. Look at this, $800 monthly net cash flow. But that's a catch, right? The first year property tax is very low, around $87. The second year of ownership, the tax rate will become back normal at 2% of the purchase price. So instead of getting $800 monthly cash flow the first year, which is equals to almost 10 grand, the second year with the property tax rate being reset, you go back to like $500 monthly net cash flow the second year. but even then it's not too shabby. All right. Again, the pro forma you can review on your own. Very, very, very great numbers, right? Look at this cash on cash return on a long-term rental new construction, and one of the fastest, if not the fastest growing housing market in the country, North Texas, 14% cash on cash return and 9% cap rate. You're not going to find anything similar anywhere in the country. Okay. With this type of numerical benchmark, which is absolutely insane. All right, so let me more again, $600. Also, some Josephine, or this great new construction. This property sells very, very quickly. As you can imagine, within 24 to 48 hours, these weekly off-market listings get sold extremely, extremely fast because of high demand, limited supply, and the amazing fundamentals, fast growth in North Texas. We have like 18 boom towns, so we are promoting these off-market turnkey properties with great property management, great buyers, historic builders, incentives, and all that whole 9 yards. Look at this number. Look at this net cash flow, which is absolutely mind-boggling. But again, the first year tax rate has not reset yet, so you're paying very, very low tax rate, thus giving you a very, very high first year cash flow projection. Okay, so my personal favorite, yes, it is. Needless to say, I love turnkey model because I like to live my life whereby I'm not gonna, get bogged down by with the stress and all that. I want peace and quiet so I can maintain my lifestyle. I don't want tenants and toilet. I don't want to deal with that. Okay, so anyway, so at the end of the day, those are your options. These are your options. I'm not saying it works because my organization, we can supply those turnkey co-living model for you at various locations. In particular, Florida and Texas is coming along. Okay, you get notices in the future when we have some this type of properties available, if not already. So you contact me, of course. So at the end of the day, contact me. My number is below. You can text me. The best way to text me is 510-552-0726. Thank you for attending and good luck. Have a nice day. See you next time. Bye-bye.